Hello YouTubers, Ghost here, and here we are again on my lifetime table with my 4 knives here that you saw in my previous video, my review of the Kershaw drone here. So let's zoom out for you. Oh, shit. Alright, so let's open these bad boys up, do a little size comparison here. Big Daddy. Alright, so this is going to be my review over the CRKT Heiho. Now, this was originally called the Hisatsu 2, but of course, I don't know what the deal with that was, but now they're calling it the Heiho. As you can see, Williams Heiho patent number. James Williams is the one who designed it. He's also the one that designed the Hisatsu folder and the Hisatsu and the Hisho, and now the Shimbu, which are both fixed blades. And the Hisatsu is also a fixed blade. This is the folding version, of course. Alright, so technical specs. We got a 3-inch Auss-8 blade with a satin finish, CRKT's logo printed nicely on there. Thumb stud for deployment options. And then we got polished G10 handles and a Linerlock system, which is also, I believe, satin finish. Partially open construction. We've got a backspacer here, which is probably an aluminum, if I had to guess, or a stainless steel. And we have a very, very nice pocket clip here. It is a black loop over pocket clip, and as you can see, those 2 holes there to access the screws there to reverse the pocket clip if you'd like to the left side. And as most people note, there is a nice little inset there, probably a plastic or maybe a little metal piece right there, just to make it all flush. So looks very nice finishing touch. And then right there, of course, you got the Japanese symbols. I believe it's Heiho, which basically means strategy, or strategy of the soldier, I believe. And this is a Linerlock, and there's the engagement surface, just in case you're interested. And this also has CRKT's patented LAWKS system. So, you know, you put it forward and you can't move the liner. You have to move it back first, then clips the liner. And it also has their outburst technology, which is an assisted opening mechanism, which is basically this torsion bar in the back. And once blade goes past about 30 degrees, it takes it over, takes it open, and there you go. So that's the technical specs. Oh, and the handle is about 4 inches in length. So I'm going to talk about the philosophy of use for this knife, because on their website, CRKT's website I should say, it's basically a slender version of this right here. Basically a more easy to conceal version, which is true, of course, because it's smaller, much more lightweight. It's about 4.2 ounces as well. Low riding pocket clip, very nice, by the way. And it also still carries that outburst system that this one does. So they're saying it's for security use. Basically someone that can't carry a fixed blade, or maybe a larger option like the Hisatsu folder. Now most people that I've heard of say that, you know, the G10 handles are polished, therefore slick, and therefore it can't really be used as a tactical folder because the grip is kind of slippery. And I agree with them on this. However, you know, the handle is kind of small. Of course, it's going to suffer because, you know, it is smaller and built easy to conceal. But I can get a pretty good grip on it and not have my pinky hanging off or anything awkward like that. Slight finger choil on the front end, cut in from the liner. No jimping, just got that thumb disc right there. But honestly, I think if you had to use this for defense or whatever you had to do with it, it could be done simply, you know, right here, wrap it like that, place your thumb on top, and you know, do what you gotta do. I think this would work just fine. Of course, most knives would work just fine in any last-ditch situation, but I think if you had to, this would be a very good option. Even though the G10 handles are polished and therefore slippery, if you have sweaty hands, it actually kind of sticks to your hand. Not actually, sticky stuff, but just because of the texture of the G10, it actually has a very good grip like this. And you can actually get a pretty good purchase like this as well, and just do, whatever if you had to. Now again, this isn't my first choice when it comes to tactical knives, but if there's a blade length limit or something like this would be a decent option. And with my theory on tactical knives is it isn't always the blade length that matters as much as it does the shape of the handle. And this Zero Tolerance 0700 is actually a pretty good example, because it's got a very nice handle, lots of real estate. You can get yourself in there. It's got an integral finger choil, a finger guard. It's nicely curved even though it is angular. But this actually has almost the exact same blade length as this right here. There's probably a couple centimeters off. But this has almost the same blade length, and yet is better suited to be a tactical knife because of the shape and size of the handle. Now these are also G10 scales, but of course they have good texturing on there, medium traction texturing. But most of the ergonomics rest in the design of the handle, and like I said, lots of real estate, so you can lock yourself in. A little jimping right there, whatever you gotta do. So when it comes to tactical knives, a good blade length is always preferable, so you can kind of keep that back off distance, that standoff distance, as opposed to having to be all close up and personal, because God forbid you ever be in that kind of situation. You don't know what they're going to have necessarily. It could be a knife, could be a gun, you just don't know. So again, they have about the same blade length, but the difference is the handle. Now what saves this, of course, is the bow tie shape of the handle, where it's kind of big on the outside and then it comes in and becomes more skinny toward the middle of it. It's more slight than the Hisatsu, but the basic handle shape is still there, and of course you still have this finger choil. So once you kind of grab it like this, you've got a pretty good grip on it, and if you place your thumb on top, extra security, it could be used to defend yourself with. As I said again, good option, not my first choice though. Actually, this would be my first choice right here, just because of the size and design of it and all. This is pretty much my go-to tactical knife, is the Hisatsu folder. I think it's one of the most brilliant tactical knives ever invented. James Williams, props, bro. You did a pretty good job, not gonna lie. Even though it's Zytel handle, it's very nicely textured. Sweat, blood, and whatever you got going on, you can still grip it really well. And the pocket clip, it does not interfere at all. Good Japanese Tanto design. Love it. And this, of course, has much of the same properties when it comes to blade shape, blade design, and use. But this is more of an EDC blade than a tactical blade because of its size, and more importantly, handle shape and size. That being said, I love this knife because it is a lightweight version of this, a smaller version of this, and much easier to conceal version of this because of that awesome pocket clip. Some improvements over this original Hisatsu, of course, the pocket clip, the fact that it's lighter weight, which is due to its size, and the bigger thumb stud, or thumb disc I should say, makes for easier opening with either hand. So That's the one thing I wish they would have done with that one, and also the deeper carry pocket clip, and maybe skeletonize the liners in there. They didn't do that with this, but you know, I'm okay with that because it's pretty good lightweight knife anyway. Solid as a rock, no blade play up, down, side to side. And again, a very thick blade stock for such a small blade. The liners are kind of thin, but the blade stock is pretty dang thick. As you can see there, you got the blade stock. The true thickness is right here. Same here. So, you know, these two are very similar, I think, in use and size, of course. Anyway, nice. So, I love this little blade. It's great for pretty much every use you have, and for those that have blade length limits that are like 3 inches, this is pretty much 3 inches. I think it's officially listed as 3.125 inches, but I can tell you that that's pretty much a 3-inch blade, at least from where the edge actually starts, right there. And as a side note, this knife also arrived razor sharp. So awesome little blade here. CRKT Heiho. Great EDC / tactical if you have to. So this has been my review of the Heiho. Have a nice day.